Each one of our mind is just a wavelength. Like each one of you have a cell phone and you have a particular number, isn't it? So when you dial the particular number, only you will get call on your phone, otherwise not. In the same way, those cell phones are the same, like all the bodies are same, but each mind has got a particular frequency, wavelength. Each mind is a particular wavelength. If there are 6 billion people on the planet, there are 6 billion wavelengths. There could be 6 billion cell phones. Correct? And you may ask me, how is it possible? It's from 0 to 9, only this many numbers, 10 numbers. And can 10 numbers make 6 billion? I would say yes. How? Just 6 numbers in all their combination can make so many cell phones. In the same way, 5 elements, which is a combination of earth, water, fire, air and ether, can result into so many different types of fauna and flora, plants, animals, human beings. This is the outer skeleton. Then there are 4 internal aspects, principles. They are mind, intellect, memory and ego. The consciousness which has this inner 4 function. So these 4 plus the 5, the 8 elements make this entire beautiful creation. Combination and permutation. And they nearly make 330 million lives on the planet, species. 330 million varieties of life in the whole creation. That's why when a DNA scientist says, in one human DNA chain, you can virtually make all the species in the world. From a human DNA, you can produce an elephant, a camel, a cockroach, lizard, and a tortoise and a snake. But if you take an elephant DNA, you can't make a human out of it. You may be able to make a frog out of an elephant DNA, or a mosquito, which is not even worth doing. It's good to do an elephant out of an elephant rather than a mosquito out of an elephant. So from a human DNA chain, you can virtually create almost every other species. So the ancient people knew this somehow, and that's why they said in Sanskrit, Yad Pinde Tad Brahmande. Whatever is present in the human body is only that is present in the universe, or whatever is present in the universe is present in one peck of a human body. Yet Pinda means the human body. Tad Brahma, whatever is in the universe, that is what is present in one human cell. When this is said, usually few decades ago people would not understand. Oh, this must be simply a fantasy. But today the scientists are speaking the same language as what the rishis spoke 10,000 years ago. 10,000 years ago the rishis said, the light is enveloped with a blanket of dark matter. The whole universe is floating in a space of dark energy. Today, that is what exactly the astronauts, astronomers and space scientists say. What you see as a sun is 0.0001% of the energy that is around the sun. The energy around the sun is unseen, you can't see them, but it is more powerful. The sun is sun because he is like a drop of water you put on a rubber sheet, a big sheet of rubber, plastic. When you pour some water on a rubber sheet, what happens? Because of the sheet's energy, the water will stay in one place as a small drop. In the same way, sun is staying in one place because around him is huge energy. And these ancient people knew somehow, they said, that is the energy which you cannot see, which you don't see. They call it Shambho, oh, unbelievably beautiful. Shiva, they call that Shiva energy. So, that Shiva energy is where everybody is. There is no escape from that field of energy called Shiva. So when you know the ancient text and when you know the modern text, you find it completely correlated or they match with each other in such precision. You can't even imagine. That creates a wow in you. Oh. You know, in India there is this saying, if you do some service to somebody and it will bring you multiple amount of favors and happiness to you. And today, some scientists have done research and published a paper about it. Have you heard this? If one scientist from Russia and another scientist from California have been working on this for past 20 years. This last December, they published a paper on it. It has come also in some newspapers. The research work says, if a friend of a friend of a friend of yours is happy, that happiness travels to you too. It will make you as much happier as you get when someone puts a $5,000 on your pocket suddenly. See, the friend of a friend of a friend becomes miserable, for no reason you get upset. So we are all connected, linked. Even you may not even know them. Even not knowing or knowing is immaterial. If people in Sri Lanka are unhappy, that unhappiness travels and it hits Tamil Nadu, it hits other parts of India as well. If people in Kosovo are unhappy, you can't be 100% happy because something will pinch you. That is why I said the whole world is one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So the whole world need to be understood as one family, and that sense of belongingness, service, love, compassion for all have to be part of the system. Otherwise, we cannot create a healthy, happy society. Very good, very good, very good.
Guruji, can you please talk about the 14 dimensions?
There are many dimensions in the universe. Our mind is just a frequency analyzer. The mind catches one and that just catches that one, another. So the consciousness has all these different dimensions. That human life is in the middle. There are 7 dimensions above, 7 dimensions below. It depends. The life is measured as units. 1 unit of life, 2 units of life, 3 units of life, 4 units of life. Then it goes up to 16 even. Some count 14, some count 16. So according to these different units of life, like stone has only 1 unit of life. Water has 2 units of life. Fire has 3 units of life. Air has 4 units of life. Trees have got 5 senses, 5. And then animals. Like this it goes. 8 units, human beings have 8 units of life. And someone extraordinary among human beings who do extraordinary thing, they have 9 units of life. The genius who can write, who can do all the genius. From 8 you can go on increasing, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like that. So, similarly there is the 14 dimensions in the universe. See the schizophrenics, the people who see 2 things, suddenly they think, what happens? Why do they do that? Because their brain is stuck, the needle is stuck in between 2 dimensions. That's exactly happens to the schizophrenics. Have you seen sometimes that your radio, when you are tuning, the radio needle is stuck in between 2 stations. Simultaneously 2 stations they keep hearing. How many of you had this experience? When you are listening to radio in the car, in 2 stations are coming at the same time. In the same way, schizophrenics, their mind is stuck in 2 dimensions. So they hear this, they hear that, they see this, they see that, they get confused. But when you give them drugs, they don't like it because they lost all the charm. Because that other one more dimension for which they had access suddenly got deprived, because there they can create the person, they can talk to the person, they get information, all this they can do. This most fantastic universe suddenly gets cut off from them, then they don't like. How many of you notice this? Many schizophrenics, they don't want to take medication. Right? So, the brain has to be understood and analyzed. This brain can tune itself to many frequencies. And this has to happen in a natural manner. Breathing, pranayama and all what, it helps you to open up and increase your potential. Then what happens? Your intuitive ability improves to a great extent. That is a dimension. You are able to communicate in silence with other people with more love and compassion. You become sensitive. All these things start happening. You know? It is very, very interesting. This whole realm, the whole field is so vast and so unimaginably beautiful. But it has to be done very systematically so that your needle doesn't get stuck in between 2 stations. And then you may have to be taken to the mental hospital. That's why I say this dimension is good enough. You live here well, serve people and be happy, be normal person. That is good enough. Okay? Like there is one sun, there are many suns. You know, these are theoretical knowledge. The scientists tell you there are so many solar systems. Not ours is not the only solar system. but you don't venture to go into other solar systems. Do you see what I'm saying? This solar system is good enough for you to live. But to know there are other solar systems that exist makes your life here much more interesting, more deeper and enriched. I would advise that attitude to all of us. What? There's so many dimensions, so many universe, so many planets, stars, galaxies. Isn't this universe amazing? So this universe is also most dangerous place to be in. You know why? There are black holes, millions of black holes floating in the surface. And our sun is escaping these black holes and moving amidst, like you move through traffic. Like a one with a motorbike moves through all the traffics. Change the lanes, and in the same way our sun is moving in between many of the black holes. Because if sun gets in touch with any black hole, finished. And this can happen any time. The entire universe gets dissolved into it. All earth, sun, moon, the whole earth will become fumes in no time. You can't even talk to an insurance company then. Because the company will also be gone before you. So this is the magnanimous universe. Glory of the magnanimous universe. The magnanimous universe. And knowing this, rest in peace in your heart. That is meditation. We were discussing how the unseen energy is much more powerful than the seen one. We saw from the ancient Vedic texts, also from the modern science, how they say the same thing, correlates. Today, going a little deeper into it, we see that this whole universe has a lot of empty space. A million times more empty space inside an atom than the particle themselves. It's actually the empty space. Our whole body is all empty space. If you take a piece of our skin and look under a microscope, you will see it's like a mosquito net. You know, in mosquito net, thread is very less, but the space is a lot. So similarly, every cell has a lot of empty space. And what works through this empty space is what we call consciousness. Neuroscientists will say there are zillions of cells in us, trillions and zillions of cells, neurons in our system, in our brain, in our body. But when you see that inside the neuron, what you find is the space equivalent to the distance between two galaxies, the same ratio. So this empty space is where the feelings, where the thoughts, where the understanding, everything floats. Knowledge floats. It is so amazing. Even when you talk about it, that's it. You go blank. You think about it, meditation happens. So everything is empty space. The whole universe is space. Our body is all hollow and empty. The mind is all hollow and empty. But this empty space has the key for the secret of the whole universe. In the ancient text of Yoga Vasishta, it starts that this universe is so empty like the sky and so full like an ocean. The inner space, our self, our mind, is empty and full at the same time. This will be very difficult for a linear mathematician to a linear logician to understand. But when you see from a spherical or higher mathematics, it is possible. What is empty is what is full too. We usually think in linear terms. Something begins somewhere, something ends somewhere. We can't imagine that everything can begin at every point and end at every point. That is higher mathematics. That is exactly what the ancient Vedic people, it's amazing with how they knew this secret. They said the same thing, and today's scientists say exactly the same, they use exactly the same words. The spherical thinking. The universe is like a sphere in which every point is a beginning and every point is an end. Or the universe has neither beginning nor end. It's all an empty space so full of energy. So when you do prayer, when you meditate, when you do pranayama, what is happening? You are creating this unseen, unknown energy. In Sanskrit, it's called creating the adrishya, creating the unseen. You have to give a little pause. When we are running all the time in our life, when you give a pause, then you realize the value of it. So, a sound is nothing but energy, but this energy of the sound, you can comprehend, experience that empty space. So from sound to silence, that journey, how sound becomes silence, the silence becomes the solid energy, emptiness becomes a solid presence, is what you can call a spirituality. We sing, we dance, but if you can turn that singing into silence and dance into stillness, then we discover another dimension deep within us. It's unbelievably beautiful, so powerful, and that's where all our intentions starts manifesting. So you have an intention, you have a desire. You don't know how this desire or intention gets manifested. It has to be processed. Like I'm speaking now, my talk goes into this little microphone. Immediately in that microphone gets translated into energy. And that goes there and exactly retranslates itself into the big speaker. Amplifies it. We take these phenomena for granted. We don't really put our mind and examine how is it happening. Sound is becoming, has passed through as a current in the wire, and then again it comes back. What is the phenomenon? What is this translation? If this can be translated and magnified, what about our own thought? Our own thought energy? Our desire is a thought energy coupled with emotion. Emotion is 100 times more powerful than just thoughts. And how these two things can work out in what field, that field of existence is the self, what they call self, the Atman. The self, nobody can say I don't exist. Nobody can say I don't have a self. Whoever says is the self. Nobody can say I will never experience self. I mean, they can say it, it will not be true. So this self, what are its qualities? It is number one, it is conscious. It is energy. It is intelligent. And it exists. Sat, Chit, Anand. It's also blissful. Every day in sleep we somehow, somewhat get somewhere close to this field of energy, and then when we wake up from sleep we feel more energetic. I know. But consciously experiencing that emptiness deep within us brings the deepest relaxation ever possible. And that is what we call meditation. So Anuranyan, smaller than the smallest atom and bigger than the biggest ever galaxy, is what our real consciousness is. It's the same spirit which is in an ant and which is in an elephant. Which is the same energy, consciousness in a particle of sand. It's the same thing that's in a mountain. One more example I would say, you know the cell phone? A little cell phone you keep, and then you press some button. There are only 10 buttons. 10 or 12. So these 10 buttons you press, and then that little plastic gadget in your hand can connect to somebody thousands of miles away. And your words here gets into the cell phone, which is not even connected with the wire. Usually when something is connected with wire, we take it for granted. So then we see that, oh, there is a connection. Here there is not even a solid connection. A cell phone in your hand, you speak, and that gets transmitted in this empty space and goes and reaches somewhere so far away. If you just put your mind on this phenomenon, you will be amazed. We take things for granted. We just speak on the cell phone. We don't even see what is the mechanism of it. If you look into the mechanism, you will be in awe. This awe creates or awakens the spirit inside you. That awe takes you to the state of meditation. Yeah. So it said Vismayo Yoga Bhumika, means astonishment is the preface for yoga. If you are astonished, stunned, that's when yoga begins. Means your spiritual journey begins, meditation begins. So you must be astonished in order to get into yoga. Or whenever you feel that wow, that astonishment in you, know that you are connected with the spirit that you are. You are in that state of spiritual elevation. Yeah. Vismayo Yoga. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it wow? Visma. How could someone even think that, oh wow, that could create that elevation in spirit. All present day crisis problems can all be solved by this change in the attitude. Don't you think so?